right. Good evening, Cryptoverse. What is going on, Facebook? What's going on, YouTube? Um, how's everybody doing this evening? Let me know how my audio is. Let me know how video is, just so we make sure everything's on point before we dive into the market. What's going on? You got watchers coming in on Facebook. Guys, let me know how this stream is. How's the audio? How's video? Real quickly, I'm going to go ahead and do a market update just as we've been normally doing them. Another power hour. Only today, I'm going to have about 35 minutes or so. Can be. I know you're on Discord. I see your notification come up. I'm actually just taking questions from YouTube and Facebook chat. So if you guys can just go ahead and ask questions there, that would be awesome. I've got some interesting market updates. I did put out a report yesterday saying I'm seeing several tweezer bottoms on various charts. We saw a tweezer bottom. We saw a tweezer bottom here on the 1 day. We saw another tweezer bottom the following 2 days. And then we got somewhat of a tweezer top. So we're in this tight constricted range. What's really interesting is market cap, where it is right now. When was the last time it was at this level, and what happened the last time it was at this level? That's what I'm really gonna dive into in the beginning, and I'm gonna spend quite a bit of time speaking about that. And if you have any questions or if you disagree with me, just please go ahead and feel free to post. To market cap, right? So we're sitting at that just below 200 billion, and that's a yearly low. And interesting enough, last time market cap was actually at these levels. We were back, that was November 15th or so. It was November 2017. If you look back at price action, where BTC was, according to where market cap is now, so we're right below, so like right at that November 3rd mark, November 2nd. Go back to the BTC chart. Back to this BTC chart, November 1st, November 2nd, BTC was trading at the low 5,000s, right? We were at the 55, and we had quite a nice run up in November from 55 all the way to 73, 74, and a pullback back down in 53.46. I believe this was a Bcash BTC battle at this price level pattern. That's why we saw that pullback. It was like a 4-day Bcash pump, and then BTC just took the lead again. But what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to highlight some key resistances and supports from that back then, where we were comparable in market cap, and BTC dominance was quite a bit higher, and we'll go right back to that here shortly. So this was a key support area. Another key support area was the 5,700 mark. There's a resistance at 61, and then the final resistance from back then was at 75.52 at that double top, right? So let's fast forward to where we are today. We saw a pullback back to these levels, found support at the 57.48, right? So we had seen support 1, 2, 3 times before previously. And we're currently holding above that previous level, which is still interesting since market cap is at that price point. And our run up this time around was up to 85.66. Yes, there was ETF fuel, but I think ETF is going to be like this huge distraction for price action. And in a sense, you know, we had rallies before ETFs this year, right? I mean, yes, we're making these lower highs, obviously, and somewhat of a lower low, right? But this was at a head and shoulders formation, head and shoulders formation, and this should have rallied the market up and kept it bullish. So I'm still of a stance that we're gonna see a turn come in to the upside. Not be today, might not be tomorrow, it might be like 10 days or so. But I'm still, I was talking about this a little over a week ago, where I said we might see a capitulation run, and if we see a capitulation run, it's going to be a violent dip down, and we've seen quite a few of these runs happen. And the market somewhat correcting itself in a sense of altcoins are being devalued, right? Back in November, Let me see. This is January 2014. Should be like year end 2017. October, September. Let me go just a little further back on my timeline. All right, so November 2017, November 2nd, right? Bitcoin dominance was at 63%, and others were at 9.3%. And I had said this weeks ago. I said alts are looking pretty bad. If we get an ETF run, if you get an ETF rally, it's going to be a real good idea to exit alts because they're going to be affected by a BTC surge. Now, we haven't even had a BTC surge. We're just seeing a lot of the money get back into BTC, and that's reflected via the market dominance metrics. Let me make sure my awesome chart looks good. So that's going to be reflected by the market dominance that we're seeing here. And I was expecting alts to somewhat start fighting back at the 17% range. We're currently at 18.1. The yearly low is 17.20, so we might see alts start turning around over the next couple of days. It just depends what's going to happen with the overall market cap. One thing I'm really interested in seeing develop is if we keep getting these ETFs pushed back and we do start sustaining that 67 level or get back up over like 6,400 or so in terms of BTC price action, and if ETFs are still delayed and we're not going to get that real ETF run to later in the year like we saw with the CBOE and CME futures, or if the top 10 ETF gets approved, then we're really going to see the market shape up a little differently. If we were to get a pure ETF run, if an ETF was to go through on BTC right now, alts would be crushed, right? So, yes, alts are declining and they're making lower lows. There's a few that are still upholding their values. Think Lumen and ZRX off the top of my head. Link's done fairly well, and a couple others like Florin Coin made some 60% this week. But the key here is the longer ETFs are delayed, the more likely we're going to get an alt season before ETFs roll in. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to highlight when it comes to alts. But you know, for now, I'm still essentially out of alts. I'm holding just a couple, and I want to see alts get crushed down to that 17%, maybe 16% of market dominance to see if we can find support there. And if you can find support there, enter a rally, that would be nice. But there's nothing right now saying there's going to be an altcoin rally. Not quite. And I had said that as soon as ETF announcements started coming out saying, hey, it's probably a good time to get out of alts. Yeah, it just is. Cut the losses soon. Anyone have any questions on BTC and market dominance? Is this stream back up? Someone said on Facebook that the stream was interrupted. Anyway, so I'm gonna hop right back in the BTC chart, see what's going on the daily. I was really wanting price action to hold up above that. Okay, let's get off the percent. I wanted price action essentially to hold up above 64. That's where our fractal was on our TD strategy. And it hasn't quite gotten there. The minute we start closing above there, that'd be a good indication to long. Currently, I've got a short-term short open, but that's just to capitalize on some downside and earn a little while still trying to build a long position, especially after today's 6,500 high, which was divergent on the 1 hour. I can dive right into that. What I mean by divergent is it was a bullish or bearish divergence on RSI. This looked like a prime opportunity to short. I posted about it in our BitMEX discussion that I shorted a little late. I just wasn't quite ready to short here. I thought we were gonna have another leg up. Then right around here is when I opened my short, a second, third candle down, and I closed the long I had from previously. Now, currently trading in a range, right? So if somebody wanted to trade BTC, we obviously have 3 touches, 1 touch of support and 2 touches of resistances, even more. So it's looking like a range trade, right? Long the bottom and short the top for now, until we get some more bullish price action. For you guys that have watched my some of my workshops, especially the reflexivity and rate of change workshop on how to pick bottoms, this would be a good time to start finding these bottom formations on to pick our longs. And we did this at 5,800 and 5,700 and even at 62 on the pullback, and it worked out great some 30 days ago. And I think we're somewhat in a similar situation. One thing that's also interesting is long short ratios on are looking really interesting. And I just added them back to my chart. I'm gonna go to 1 day, show you guys what I'm talking about. I highlighted this yesterday. Okay, why are we so high? So typically whenever shorts really pile up and they build up these really big positions and fail to push the price any lower, we get a short squeeze. Again, just drag that a little bit. Perfect. So we get short squeezes when shorts go parabolic and they fail to push the price down. And this is what we're essentially seeing. So another leg up on shorts building their positions, and we might see a short squeeze. The last short squeeze that happened was on 427 and resulted in a 30-day relief rally up to like 5.9 or so. So I'm looking forward to that short squeeze because that's going to put us back up. It's going to put BTC back in the more bullish range. You guys have any questions on short squeezes? Anything I mentioned? Anything you want me to look at on BTC? A select time frame that you'd like me to cover? There you go. That's going to fix the chart. No questions? All right, well, time for altcoin requests, right? I said this is going to be a little shorter power hour than usual. It's going to be actually like a power 35 minutes. So if you guys hit me with some altcoins and I'll cover them, I'll run some TA for you. It's going to be a lot of bleeding, quite a bit of bleeding. Key takeaway, good areas for BTC entry long if you don't know how to essentially use our bottom picker strategy is going to be going based off these previous support levels that it's traded at in the past. And if we see a steep capitulation sell-off, I really want to see the next day candle just erase all that price action back up. How low do you think BTC will go? Tim Boy, I'm currently hunting down long positions, right? I don't want to see it retest 5,800. A lot of people are screaming $3,000 BTC. I just don't see that happening right now. It's not a tradable formation, right? You can't just put a short and say, oh, it's going to hit 3K. Nothing on the chart's indicating that. So I'm seeing our next support levels. If it comes back down at that 6K mark, right, and breaks past it, there's a 57.60 that's going to be strong, and then a really strong 54.16. That's like, that would be where I'd ladder in a nice fiat buy and just try to catch that knife. One thing that's somewhat concerning is that volume really, the buying volume kind of dried up. Let me go ahead and adjust my volume indicator for you. Maybe you can see those bars a little more clearly, and I believe we can. So pre-ETFs, during ETFs, towards the ETF announcement high, buy volume had really came in and picked up the price. Now I want to see that buy volume come back in. Let's go on a weekly and see if we're essentially volume-wise out of the correction. And it seems like we almost are when it comes to volume, because even back here towards the blue line is a volume moving average, right? And whenever BTC historically has entered a correction, we see that correction take place up until volume starts breaching that moving average, and you can see that right there. Make sure you guys can see it on the chart. My face is not covering it. Well, we got to. It's gonna move the chart up a bit. Awesome. So coming out of last correction, we had this gap between where the volume moving average was and where the actual buy and sell volume was. And it wasn't until we started seeing these green bars coming in above the volume moving average, even previously in this range, that we saw interest come in. And usually whenever people are more interested, we're going to see price action react accordingly. And currently we're at a similar scenario where we just, like last week or last 3-4 weeks ago, was the first time that volume was crushing past the volume moving average, and we want to see that happen for a sustained rally, either direction, either up or down. Let me look at lumens. I was looking at lumens earlier today when it was at 36, and I profit took some. Oh, it's at 34. So once again, my view on lumens, there's no reason for lumens to sell off or get devalued. It's probably the weekly chart is going to give us a good indication of what's happening, right? So some basic support resistance lines over here. Has it broken the downtrend or the uptrend? It hasn't, right? But for me to draw this really extended pennant or flag, doesn't make sense that we're going to see price action happen here for a squeeze up. But there's really no good reason for lumens to sell off other than the market entirely is being devalued, right? So we're seeing a devaluation of altcoins, and that's it. It's depressing to see, right? But I mean, I did say past few weeks that, hey, we got to be really wary with alts, and we got to set our stops nice and tight, set trailing stops, and not hodl altcoins. We can look at too many altcoins, or I'm just gonna go to ADA. Yeah, I mean, wow, crushed. Go to the 1 day, and throughout this rally period, we saw alts come back down and retest previous breakout formations. Now, 88 dipped down past this breakout bull flag. So, and it did, and then it rallied. So we're going to see him come back down and retest earlier formations. I think this big run up on ADA was like a hype. It definitely got overvalued way too fast. And we're just seeing the market essentially bringing it all back home. Like everything's going back into BTC right now as far as dominance goes. And the king needs to remain the king of the market for us to be able to have any other rallies, because there's not a whole lot of fiat gateways coming into the market. So most of our alts are actually traded on BTC value, and BTC is going to have to increase in dominance before it can give off any more BTC towards any other charts, or trading volume to any other charts. Let me go back to lumens. This was from our weekly chart. You guys have any altcoin requests? I'm doing this for you all so I can give you guys a market update on your alts. Show some alts my way, please. GRX and Link. Wow, it's a big, deep red candle on GRX. I was debating adding GRX today, but I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, you got some these are going to be three black crows, right? So it's pretty bearish. We're going to come back down and see what the chart can potentially retest as far as support goes. I'm going to go to the Binance chart. It's got earlier data on ZRX. It was listed there way sooner. And this was our April rally for ZRX. And this is the first time it actually comes back and tries to retest the April lows. So it's not looking as bad as some of these other tokens. I'm going to add a comparison and just add ADA next to it. Let's do a comparison. Right, so we're seeing these three black crows. We're going to see a steeper devaluation happen. In terms of percent gain, ZRX really outperformed ADA and is currently still higher than our April rally starting point. This is when I mentioned that ZRX is actually a custodian holdings token, and that we should essentially pay attention to some of the custodian holdings because I believe some alts are actually being acquired and put in cold storage by institutions. And we saw the rally happen. We profit took, bought a dip, profit took, tried to buy the inverse head and shoulders, got stopped out. But essentially, just from April lows, ZRX is still up. Is that right? 124%. Let's get rid of percent. Yeah, 124% from April lows, and inversely, ADA is down some 16% from the April lows. So, in a sense, I want to see a retest of this previous low, and I'm really looking for support on ZRX in this accumulation range where we know institutions were stocking up on this token. I'm going to cover Link. Alright, looks like Link is getting devaluated as well, or devalued. Let's go ahead and get rid of the 88 chart. It's currently holding at a previous support level, right? But I mean, I'd be very shy with alts right now. I might as well just stay in BTC or open a just essentially stay in BTC for the rally until alts give us a confirmation of a turn. So you've got an underlying support, and we're right at it at the 38.41. I'm not seeing a bearish divergence on the daily chart, right, which is good. I am seeing a sell signal on my moving averages, which is right here, and that kind of clicked off a little earlier today at the top. Lido, I'm gonna share with you my the moving averages I'm running above my RSI. So you can get those long and short signals that we're getting. So this has been a long, somewhere around in the 25 range, and a close at 33 for another open there for a close up here. So it's an efficient strategy for what's going on with the market right now, but for a human to find this and trade it on every chart is going to be somewhat of a pain. Going over BNB and Ether Classic. I'm going to cover BNB, BTC, and one thing I had said is that BNB essentially performs as a hedge. Whenever BTC loses value, I believe the exchange Binance actually hedges in their own coin. So what happens is, let's add a BTC chart. So we definitely see an inverse correlation here. Again, maybe stretch the timeline out a little further. Can't do that. So there's definitely an inverse correlation. BTC is plotted in white. BTC makes a gain. BNB makes a dip. And then at some point during a BTC sell-off, we're going to see BNB rally. And the fact that BNB is actually losing value, that's interesting because BTC is losing value as well. And if they're in an inverse correlation, we should see one of these tokens essentially take a turn, unless BNB decided to just exit into fiat and say, hey, we're not going to pump our own coin this time, we're just going to go into Tether. They wanted to free up some capital. Ether Classic. I haven't re-signaled Ether Classic for a long, and I mean the Binance, the Coinbase play is over, right? It got listed on Coinbase and was listed on Robinhood, and it sold off afterwards. So I don't see a reason for it to go back up right now. There isn't. Now, if you were to enter another bull market, right, where we're seeing all the coins on Coinbase make some gains, like we saw last year when Ether went up to over $1,000, when Litecoin went from like $30 to over 200. When we start seeing all those coins rally, then we're gonna see an influx of volume and buys come in on Classic. Right now, nobody's got the incentive to go in and buy Ether Classic on Coinbase because they see the market's really bloody, unless they had a good reason to buy the dip. Fundamentally, Ether Classic's done a lot of good to their project, but I don't quite see it going back up anytime soon violently. I mean, we're seeing a lower low. These are tweezer bottoms, right? But then we got up here and we got this this spindle top, and now it's just been a straight sell-off. I could put it on a TD sequential chart. Let's try that. It's looking like it's like at a 9 bottom, I believe. Let's go to ETC, BTC. Nope, we're at a 6. So there could be 3 to 4 more days of actual bleeding on Classic. And it's down past all fib levels. I said, hey, it might be looking good for an entry, but I hadn't really signaled along on it for a reason. Going over wax. So I had been pretty bullish on this token, except for when we got stopped out of a trade in these market conditions, we tend to not want to look back right away, not try to re-enter and rush anything. It's currently making a lower low than previous low. I'm not sure how the utility is going on the exchange itself. I don't know if you're familiar with Wax or not. Yes, this one is all our power hours are recorded and you can watch them after the fact. So I'm not sure how the volume is on Wax on the actual exchange, which is CSGO. And that this one's more of a utility token. Up until they take care of, or they get rid of USD ability to buy and make it straight wax, that's when we're going to see the coin actually increase in value. I don't know if they plan on implementing that or not. We also know there's a few competitors coming into the space, such as DMT, which is Dream Market, and there's one more other coin that recently got listed. So the whole gaming, or not gaming, but video game fueled crypto, I guess the coins that are tailored more to gamers are essentially, they're really hitting the marketplace hard and heavy this quarter. You guys have any more altcoin suggestions? I'll take 2 more altcoin requests. Check on our Discord, make sure nobody's asking for alts over there. What was the reason for today's market dip? Awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and answer you guys. Today's market dip, I'm not quite sure what fueled it. I didn't see any negative news. Let me go to our newswire. I really think what's pushing the price of alts down, or what's causing alts to dip further, is the fact that BTC is gaining back its market dominance, right? And I had said this weeks ago that, hey, if BTC is gonna rise in dominance, we're gonna see alts get crushed. And if you look at this chart right now, BTC has to grow in dominance in order to have an altcoin rally, right? They very rarely rally alongside each other. So BTC went on last year. ETC went on a dominance run, on a price hike for the Bcash and Bitcoin Gold forks. And after the fact, the money sold back off, came into alts, and alts went from that low of 9.5% of market dominance all the way up to that 23-24. And then subsequently, what happened? Alts went, BTC gained dominance, alts lost dominance down to a 17%, and that's when the April rally came in. That was like March 18th. Then the March through April rally, I was suggesting, saying, hey, when alts or others get close to that 25% mark, we might see altcoins turn around. We might see that 24% act as a resistance. But what happened conversely is it reached 26.9, almost 27% in market dominance on alts. And then what happened? We saw that split happen again, where alts lose dominance and BTC gains dominance. It's just market cycles. Anybody have any are we seeing alts used as a hedge? Absolutely not quite right now. I don't believe alts are being used as a hedge. A hedge would be a good short, right? But I believe we're getting close to the end of this downtrend on BTC, which I've been saying for a few days, and we actually like long 57, 58. So we've got a decent track record of finding a good long entry. The perfect hedges have been just short selling BTC, entering a short position and profiting from the downtrend and doing it on leverage and margin. The one really top performing hedge in as far as alts goes, over the bear market, the only token that made over 1,000% during this bear market was Mana, and it's actually selling off quite rapidly. And I wasn't expecting, I got a ping today because I have alerts set on Mana all the way down. I got an alert today saying, hey, it's like at 1,200. I'm like, Mana is dipping as well. So this was one of the few tokens that was performing as a hedge. BNB is typically a good hedge, but BNB selling off, so that is going to be somewhat of an indication of we can expect to see the market go. So if the top performing hedges are selling off, I'd expect BTC to rally. One thing that's interesting is the SPY and BTC have had somewhat of an inverse correlation, and for some time now. So I'm going to remove all drawing tools for now. And I highlighted this in yesterday's email and posted a little video about this. So one back to what I'm saying. Yesterday I put out an email saying, hey, I have 4 reasons to be bullish on BTC right now, and this is one of them. So we had seen this inverse correlation on these 2 indices, like the SPY and BTC, and it started somewhat in like May, and now we're seeing the SPY have a pullback, right? It's divergent on RSI. We had this higher high, and on the daily with a lower high on RSI. Just gonna move that over just a bit. So we're gonna see a pullback on the 4-hour chart. It turned on at 9, and we're still at a 5 candle from that down count. So I want to see the SPY pull back, and I want to see how markets react. BTC might just be the hedge for some legacy markets, especially like tech stocks and such. Guys, hit me with some more questions. I'm getting really good questions from everyone on YouTube tonight. Sorry, my contact's bothering me. Can't even read that. Let me go ahead and pull up the comparison chart. Gotta get it lined up just right. So essentially on the daily, I do have this chart saved on my computer, so I can just pull it up. Not quite tech stock versus currency, but just a correlation on the chart. Let me go ahead and pull that up. The fundamentals of it is we're seeing a lot more interest from institutions and assets in digital assets or cryptos, right? And historically there hasn't been a tight correlation, and that's been like Fundstart, that's their main pitch on crypto and why institutions should go into crypto. But the fact that we're seeing this inverse correlation, we're gonna essentially see a pullback, makes me think that we're gonna see a pullback on the SPY and some more money enter the crypto space. Go over EOS. Still selling off. I've said stay away from EOS no matter how much hype or Essentially, that would be my assumption, Kevin. Going into EOS, I've said this token is just gonna keep coming down. Um, News, no news, just being devaluated. It's at a steep sell-off. I haven't bagged EOS in a long time. That's actually back to those April lows where that April rally happened. So we can expect it to retest the lows of the previous formation. So the only time I'd be willing to look at EOS for a possible entry would be at some of these previous support levels. So you got a 66.04. We've got a even lower 55. And Victoria, I've said that, essentially shy away from alts if possible. Keep those stop losses tight if we do go on an ETF rally. The longer the ETF rally is delayed, the more of an opportunity alts are going to have to shine. Just because it's going to give them that break before BTC goes on an ETF surge, if ETF surge does come in. Anybody have any more questions for me? Well, guys, if you liked our live stream, if you liked my analysis, if I covered your token, please click like. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. Feel free to share our streams on your favorite groups, favorite platforms. Really appreciate it. If you haven't checked out our new website, coinobservatory.com, go there and take a look. Check out the individual trader mentorship. You can scroll down and check on some of the gains that the community has been making while we're on margin. Christopher, I spent some 20 minutes on BTC in the beginning, so this stream is going to be recorded, and you can watch it as soon as I'm done being live. Thanks a lot, everyone. I'll see you guys on Wednesday evening, same time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And yeah, good evening.